So we've got to go and drop these orders off in the post office and get them sorted, and we'll go to our first job. So, first job we're off to is a customer whose truck's doing too frequent regenerations. I've had a chat with him about how often it's doing it and when he had the filter changed last. Honest answer from him, he doesn't think the filter's been changed since he's owned a truck. Now, DAF split their maintenance into 3 different categories. There's type 1, type 2 and type 3 basically. Type 1 is construction and off-highway sort of vehicles. Type 2 is general haulage, and type 3 is like long distance, international, continental sort of work. And obviously the mileage varies on when your DPF gets changed or cleaned, I suppose. This isn't taking into consideration PTO time as well, because that's another factor for when your DPF gets cleaned or changed. In the case of model year 17, it's always a preventative maintenance rather than reactive maintenance with DPFs, I find, as DAF made the exhausts smaller and lighter on model year 17 compared to Euro 6, so you don't really have any leeway on when the filters are cleaned or changed. Let's crank the steering over. I'll do.
Bloody bit all works.
There we go.
There's nothing there, is it?
Yeah. So if this clamp wants to undo now. Well, I'll put some heat on it, but see if she gives us the goods. Not having it. Oh dear. Not what I needed on a Monday morning, but we'll try and get a steam cleaner in this now. The DPF up here. See how it's going all. Go on, you bag of junk. You can put this on your wall, can't you?
Yeah.
Because it won't take you back exchange.
Yeah, you are right, anyway, yeah.
Come on. Yes. Yeah. Nothing seals, thank you. We'll be able to get the rest without the pressure washer.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to contaminate the dock. Right, so DPF filter's out. Customer's going to go get a new one from DAF. We'll get over to Manchester. Ugh. So we're just in Oldham now. We'll go and see this customer who's got an XF. They've got a red engine warning on it, so we'll go and get into that and see what's going on.
When I'm into slow moving traffic.
Oh, slow moving. Interesting. Right. Let's get this plugged in. So, let's see what faults we've got on the dash. We're going to exhaust system malfunction. So we'll go into the exhaust system on gel test and see what's going on there. So we'll jump into anti-pollution, which is EAS3 on this, because we're on Euro 6, not model year 17. And we'll see what faults we've got in this ECU now. If we go into fault code reading, we've got an active fault here for after treatment fuel solenoid, no response. So we'll carry out some testing on this. We'll get the cab over as well and we'll see what happens. Slap some gloves on, throw this cab over, and we'll have a look what's going on. So this is our fuel module here. This is our fuel supply pipe. This is our hand primer. This pipe here is the air pipe for the air shut-off valve that blows this pipe through, which goes to the injector on the exhaust system. Then underneath this air shut-off valve is the fuel shut-off valve. That allows fuel to flow through this pipe to the injector and allows us to do our regeneration. That's what we've got the problem with, so we'll get into that. So if I go into our fault code troubleshooting from gel test, it says to check the component wiring and connections. So now we know we've got a fault with the after treatment fuel shut-off valve solenoid. If we go to diagrams and put in after treatment fuel shut-off valve solenoid, this is that module on the side of the fuel filter housing I was on about. We've got the air shut-off valve, the fuel shut-off valve and the pressure sensor for the fuel after treatment. We need to be looking now at wires 7 and 21 on plug B on the EAS3 ECU on the exhaust. So we'll just figure out which is plug B now. If we look at the system information, we'll see B is a smaller plug. And from there we'll work out what pin 7 and 21 are. So we'll get this cover off and we can get to the ECU plugs. There's only one bolt in it. Right. One EAS3 ECU, plugs A, plugs B. We want this bottom one. So I've got this plug off finally, I think. I'm going to give it a mate. There we go. God for that. So we want 7 and 21. 7, 21. So we'll go with the yellow set of my breakout leads that you can get from Truck Tech UK. And we'll go into 7 here. And we'll put the black in 21. There we go. Stop them there. Right, let's test the resistance on this circuit. So we'll scoot this round now to ohms. There we go. Red and black. Red, black. Well, we've got 9 ohms. 8 ohms. 8 ohms on this circuit. That's interesting. So we'll get this back on here then. If it'll go. I think we'll get some spray for the slides. Right, get this back off. Get that down there. Hopefully this will help these slide up and down a bit better. Right. So plugs back on the ECU. We'll get this cover back on there and we'll start a regeneration, I think. see what happens from there. It's funny how that fault's on though. Unless it's a fuel. No, it's no response. No response. Unless it's fuel related. So back on gel test now. We'll just have a look at the faults again. That's because I've had the plug off. After treatment fuel injector, there's one fault for that. We'll clear the faults and we'll start a regeneration. Then we'll monitor the fuel after treatment shut-off valve solenoid and see what's going on from there. We've got some conditions we need to meet first for it to do a regeneration. One of them being the coolant temperature has to be at 60 degrees, so we'll run this on a fast idle now. Yeah, that took a bit while to start, didn't it? So I've got this set to do a regeneration now with the vehicle stopped. We've just reached our coolant temperature. I'm just going to go and knock the fast idle off and we can start the regen. So our conditions are met here now. We'll press yes and start this regeneration. As you can see, the truck's now starting its regeneration. So it's no good to me that I just have a green light show up here to say that the after treatment fuel injector is injecting fuel. I could do with a bit more information. So I've just pressed disconnect now while it's doing a regeneration, because that's always a good thing to do, and I'm going to go back into EAS3. So the truck's still running a regeneration. I can then go into measurements and select what I want, such as the fuels, after treatment shut off valve solenoid, the after treatment fuel injector, the pressure sensor. So I've got some measurements set up here now. The truck's doing a regen. I've come out of it, gone back into the ECU. I've got my air supply shut off valve, my fuel supply shut off valve, the after treatment fuel injector, the diesel oxidizing cat temperature, and the fuel pressure on the after treatment fuel system as well. Now I know when this gets to about 270 degrees, these three are going to start doing stuff. And if there's a DTC activated, it won't continue with the regeneration. So as you can see, the fuel shut off valve's open, the after treatment fuel injector's open, it's done its test on the air supply shut off valve solenoid. Plenty of fuel pressure there. This will start shooting up to 550 now, and this will reach about 300. So what was the fault?
That happened every time he was under load.
Yeah. Well, hasn't this made me look a dickhead? This is all working fine. As you can see, our DPF's up to temp, our dock's coming up to temp, we've got plenty of fuel pressure, and our after treatment fuel injector's still open. So this is what I would say our exhaust system malfunction was, but the driver's just complained about an engine warning light coming on going up the hill, so we'll have to look at his fuel system now. So we'll go into PCI now and we'll just start a leak off test. So we'll go system checks, high pressure circuit, fuel return on the injectors, yes, yes, all cylinders working, we've met all the requirements, accept. Let's go start this truck. So we're now running through a fuel pressure test, but without the measuring jugs connected. As you can see here already, we've got a 35% correctional value, and somebody's already changed the fuel pressure control valve. The driver is off for a week to 10 days, the end of the month. So rather than doing 6 leak off tests now, they're going to use it till the end of the month, and then we're going to be able to have a look at the injectors, possibly get them changed. So on to the next job. So we're over in Leavenshume now, because I'm getting killed by Mercedes. Got another DAF to look at now, DAF CF. Brake system warning malfunction, God knows what else, but we'll see what's going on here now. Oh my God. Right, let's get this plugged in. There's an OBD socket here somewhere. There we go. Key, turn the ignition on. Right, let's get into this. we'll go with main system scan because it's everything, apparently, what's on the dash. We'll see what's here. Well, Christmas tree springs to mind today. We've got active faults in VIC3, PCI, Traxon, VECU. Let's see what we've got here. So we've got all these faults here. Air supply, waiting time exceeded. What else we got here? SAC, waiting time exceeded, CAN timeout. Again. So can we just get into the SAC? Let's have a look. Smart air controller, connect. Is this our actual problem? So there's no comms with the smart air controller, or APU as it used to be known. So we better go and investigate that. So if we look for diagrams, smart air controller diagram, all I need to know what's on the plug basically. So this is our plug. Frame can because it comes in and out because it's model year 17. So it goes from chassis module front to chassis module rear through FCAN, which is frame can. We've got 2 fuses here on D400, which is our fuse box in the front. 5 and 6. One is KL30, which is our main power. KL15, which is our ignition. And then we've got a earth here then on KL31. So we'll go and have a poke at D412, which is the plug for the SAC. I'll just fall in the pit. Right, where are we?
I seen McDonald bought them down there and they didn't work for fucking.
Let's have a look at this. Well, it's making a noise on the dash, and it's making some more noises on the dash. That's always good. There's always a broken wire or something in here. Well, there's a repair. To start, let's test these powers and grounds. So that's a ground because it's white. There's some powers. So what have we got there? 23 volts. Right, so there's nothing there. We've lost pin 6. So we'll see what pin 6 is now on gel test. Pin 6 is our ignition live. So we'll test the fuse first, which is E351, which is in D400, which is a passenger fuse box. And then from there, we'll follow the wire down then, down the chassis, through this plug here most probably, and we'll see what goes on from there. Body up a bit to get to this plug that looks an absolute mess. My God. We'll have a look at this now. So now we know we've got no power at the SAC unit down there. We'll jump in the cab and check this fuse now. 460 and 351. So where's 460 and 351, you ask? Well, 460 is, let's have a look. 460. Why don't they put these in numerical order? Where's 460? Yeah, C25. So A, B, C. 25. 10 amp there. That'll be that one. Let's have a look at the test light. 23 volts. 23 volts. Nothing wrong with that fuse. Looking for 351. 351, 351. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 5. 351, F20. A, B, C, D, E, F. 20. That one there, which is a 10 amp. That one there. Just look. That's fine. And that's fine. Oh crap. So we're looking for 1381. That's what we've lost our power feed on to this plug here. 1381. Let's have a look at JAL test. We know it's D412, so go back to diagrams, model specific, for D412. That was easy. Right, we can zoom in on this. So it's not pin 5 we're interested in, it's pin 6. This one here. See, this is our wire number here, 1381, which I found on the wire. From pin 6 to 123F, F being frame, so that's the plug at the top. It then goes through then from 1381, which is the wire again, in position 18 in the plug, up to 78H12. Now that's the bulkhead, so that's at the front. So we've lost our feed from here, so we'll check it there next. Let's get a new. So we want 78H12. So 78H, that's this plug here, and pin 12. Well, that's 31. That's pin 12 there. So that should be 1381, I think it was. Let's have a look. What's on the wire? 1381. Well, there's voltage there, but no voltage down the back. So that means it's broke between the bulkhead and the chassis plug. So seeing as we've lost the ignition power supply to the sack, and somebody's robbed the main KL30 supply to the sack from this additional accessories plug, engine speed control or something like that, we'll just nick the ignition supply from here and run it with this wire to the sack, and then I'll make a note in the cab. But not the best ideal situation to be doing this, but they want it on the road ASAP. I'll try and feed this through all these cable ties with this other wire here. Oh, come on. Not the best way to do this at all. So all I've done, just like someone else, just for now, what I think I'll suggest to the customer is we run a piece of twin core from the bulkhead all the way down the chassis and integrate it into the wiring harness, rather than this abortion of a get me home job. But I've heat shrunk another live, so they've done KL30, I've just done KL15, and then I've run that up with the other wire. So have we got power here now? Let's have a look. There's 23 volts and there's 23 volts. So plugging this in should yield us some communication with the sack. If we go back to our diagnostic menu now, to sack, and go to connect, we should have some communication now. Ta-da! There we go. Then if we refresh our system scan that I originally started with here, obviously we've got active faults there, active faults here, they should all go to inactive now, so we'll just do that. Scan. So all the ECUs I had faults with before have now gone green. So some of you will have noticed a fault code for ambient temperature sensor can timeout. Well, that fault diagnostics, fitting the new DPF from the start of the video, and a technical explanation on why the DPF filled with AdBlue is over on the website in my members area. I thought 25 minutes was enough suffering for everyone. Do you think videos this long is too much? Let me know in the comments. Maybe in the next video I can go and cut them temporary wires out and do a proper job. As always, subscribe if you're not, hit the like button, go watch them videos, and I'll catch you in the next one.